Hi, this is Dory from Prairie Scraps, and it's Foster Care Friday. And I thought I personally feel like there's not a lot going on with foster care for us, but actually there is, because my hunch last week, if you watched the video, I could remember that the social worker was going to come for our home visit on a Friday in September, but I couldn't remember exactly which one because I didn't write it down, or if I did, I can't remember where I wrote it down. So anyway, lo and behold, last week, just after I did the video, she showed up and for our home visit. So I thought I'd share with you today how our home visit went. And I'm always curious, like, what you do during your home visit, etc., etc. The reason I think there's not much going on is because my life feels a little bit at a halt because I'm still laid up with my logging accident. I'll just turn it here. You can see there I am. I'm right in front of the fire, right in front of the TV, of course, and I'm surrounded by my crafting and all the other things that I do. But ultimately, I only can get up for about 1 to 2 hours a day with my foot in a downward position. Otherwise, I'm in too much pain. So basically, I'm just sitting here and healing, which means that our foster care license is on hold by our choice, because there's no way I could chase after a little one, or take them to appointments or take them to school or any of that kind of stuff. So I need to wait until I'm healed. It's probably going to be, I'm afraid, through the end of the year. So, but anyway, we went ahead with our recert visit so that everything is in line, that as soon as we need it, it will be all ready. We won't have to go through that. So she showed up and came. My husband, we didn't have to have both of us here, she said, but I did schedule it during my husband's lunch hour so that he could be here for it and show her around the house, because I knew that I can't get up the stairs at all. I knew I couldn't navigate that at all. So this time, when we sat down and talked to her, we kind of figured out that actually our last our social worker that we had on the case, maybe misunderstood us a little bit and wrote the paperwork kind of weird, and basically said that we would not be able to acclimate to other cultures, based on the fact that myself and my daughters all wear skirts, and it's a personal religious conviction. It's not anything that's really up for grabs, or, I don't make other people believe what I believe necessarily. It's my own personal conviction for modesty, and that's where it is. It's just not going to change. But she was asking questions about having a baby, and if I had to put clothes on a little girl, a foster care baby, would I not allow them to wear pants? And I said, well, logistically, if I go to the store to buy clothes for a foster baby that is female, I'm going to gravitate towards dresses and skirts. That's what I know. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. And I did say that, I think that if a parent came and said, a parent of the foster child said that they did not want their child in a dress, then I would abide by that. It wouldn't be easy for me because I'm not familiar with buying pants. It's not my thing. I don't even know sizes or anything like that. So I just, expressed that it wasn't that I was unwilling. It's just that it's not my thing. So I don't know. It just kind of got misconstrued, and she basically put down that we would not be a good fit for girls in foster care, and that we would not acclimate to, basically, buyer beware, don't place anybody with us that has cultural issues. So it was kind of weird, and and then added to that, we were trying to go for our first foster care child to be a baby. We wanted under 3 years old so that the baby could stay in our bedroom, so that it didn't intrude on our kids, because the only other place we have to put foster kids is in with our own kids. And we figured we'd try our first one in our bedroom so it wasn't an intrusion on our kids. And if it became an intrusion on our kids, then we knew that foster care wasn't a good fit for us. So we just kind of wanted to try out with our first one to be a baby. So unfortunately, with that combination on our check thing, it put us on the back burner, which explains why it took her from May until October to actually type up our information and get our stuff put in place for the certification. And then it also put us basically on a blacklist with the social workers. So we really didn't get any calls. And the funny thing is that even though we specified babies, we still once in a while would get calls for like a random teenager. So it was just a really weird thing. We were told in our class that we could specify what we wanted. And I guess in hindsight, that just didn't work. It backfired for us. So anyway, because we actually got one call for somebody, and the guy said, I know you only want to adopt a baby. And I was like, wait a second, back up. That's not at all what I said. So I think, and this new social worker on the case said, I think we were totally misunderstood by our past caseworker. And it's unfortunate because I feel like we've spent the last year waiting and hoping and praying for a foster child that we could help in our community. And really, we went empty. We had 1 3-week placement, and that was it. And it was an awful placement. So anyway, here we are on our recert at a year, and I'm laid up. So at least for now, it's going to be on hold. But I will tell you, because I'm always curious about how the home visit goes. Generally, in the past, when they've come to visit our home, I've cleaned the house from top to bottom like a tornado. I've gone through the house, made the kids clean their rooms, all that kind of business that most people would do. But this time I was laid up and I didn't know when she was showing up. So my house was how it is every day. So she got to see all the ugly, I guess. I know that my kids' bedrooms were probably pretty messy. In fact, my husband, when he went up there with her, assigned the girls to clean their bedroom for the rest of the afternoon. I guess my sons must have been pretty decent. But I mean, I guess the bottom line is for the house visit, unless you're filthy dirty and dishes in the sink for weeks on end, we had our dishes done. The general areas of our house are picked up and cleaned up every single day because that's the kids' chores. Bathrooms are cleaned every single day. They may not be the neatest things in the world, but it is what it is. We live here. So anyway, this time she actually looked at the bedrooms, which the last one never did. And she's like, I'm stunned. You actually have empty beds, a bed for a girl and a bed for a boy. And I said, yes, I've had them always. I never tried to give her the impression I wasn't willing to do other kids. In fact, we feel strongly about siblings because we don't want siblings to be broken up. But we weren't ready to do that quite yet. So anyway, we actually can get up to 3 kids in our house now because we have 1 crib in our bedroom and we have a girl's bedroom and a boy's bedroom. The only things we have to improve on the house for the recert are she did check all the fire alarms in the house and one of them had a dead battery in it. So that one we have to get a battery for and take a picture and send it to her. And then if we were to do a baby, which the last worker never told us, we have a gate for the bottom end of the stairways, but apparently we need a gate for the top one. So we have to get one more gate for the top. And then what else did we have to do? Oh, we are not done with our 10 hours of re-education. And part of that is because I had my appendix taken out the weekend we were supposed to go for the 10 hours. And so I didn't ever get around to doing that. And then, of course, life goes on. And because we weren't getting kids, I wasn't feeling super urgent to get any training. And then, of course, I've been laid up. So although I can sit here and do it, it really has to be a time when my husband can sit with me and do the actual classes. We'll have to look at some YouTube videos that are to fill in the rest of our hours. So we have to get those hours into her. And I can't remember. There was one more thing. The girl's bedroom is a 2nd story and doesn't have an emergency exit. So we had to get a ladder, which we've always known we had to get a ladder up there. But we just figured, why would we spend $40 on something? In case in point, we didn't need it all this last year because they didn't send us any kids. So anyway, we have we just ordered an emergency ladder for that room for the window. And then the other boys' room, we actually put a ladder up next to our chimney because that one actually opens up to a roof and they can walk down the roof and then to a regular ladder. So those are the emergency exits, and that we always knew that we would have to do that, but they didn't require it because we were only doing babies, I guess, the last time. And she never did check for the children. So kind of a frustrating little situation that happened, but I'm glad that we've got it cleared up now. I think this research should maybe better express who we are as foster parents. I definitely learned a good lesson, and some of it I should have just been more vocal about. But honestly, I felt like once the social worker comes out and says what she says, there's nothing I can do to change it, that's her opinion. And I didn't really know that I could have called and said, well, I don't totally disagree with this. I think we didn't really agree on this or whatever. And also the third part of it is that I felt like that worker was very condescending about our religious beliefs and was really probing that. Like it never seemed like she didn't even check where our chemicals were or that we had safeties on any of our chemicals. None of that was ever checked. And so it was weird. She just really, really hung on to that. And the only other thing that she was worried about was a couple of gas tanks that we have outside for our chainsaws being out, just outside where a kid could get them. And I kept saying, but we're only having a baby, so a baby would never be outside by themselves. So anyway, it was just a really odd experience the first time around. And honestly, I felt super emotionally beat up by it by the time it got done, so I didn't really advocate for myself. So, I think what I learned is to make sure that what that final report says actually reflects how I feel, and if it doesn't, then start asking questions. Not to be like super picky, because you want it to reflect who you are. And I think sometimes, especially when you have different religious beliefs from everybody else, that they might reflect weirdly. I don't know. So unfortunately, I never could see eye to eye really with her on any of those things. And I always had this feeling there was something that just wasn't working out right. So, and I felt like I was blacklisted on getting foster kids. So here we are, new year. I hope that hopefully we will be on foster care soon. These Friday foster care videos might not be as frequent because obviously I'm not going to have a whole lot to report until I am finished. But that is our home visit in a nutshell. Dirty, messy house or not, it's kind of embarrassing for me, but this time I guess that's what God is teaching me through this whole process, is that I have to let some things go, especially when they're out of my control. So that's it. So please comment below, tell me your experiences with it or any questions you might have. Also, I would appreciate probably really not much for response as far as the dress thing. Like I said, it's my own conviction. It's not anything that I impose on anybody else, but if you're living in my house, it's probably going to be, if you're a girl, I will gravitate towards skirts. But, if it's an older girl, they can definitely choose their own. So that's the way it is in our house. And my daughters won't be wearing pants as long as they're under 18. So that's the way it is. Please comment below, subscribe, and like this video so that I can get up more and continue to grow my YouTube video. I'm pretty excited about how many people have been subscribing, so keep it up. I'll look forward to talking to you again soon.